Hello and welcome back to Fire Emblem. So, this time we have a lot of supports to do with Dimitri. But before we do that, I would like to address one person in the comments. If, in the previous episode, I killed your favourite waifu, I do very much apologise. But I would do it again. Right, now we've got through that, let's go into this. And Cyril and Ash, let's go.
Hey, Ash.
Hey there, Cyril. Is something on your mind?
Well, I wanted to thank you for helping me.
Huh? When do you mean?
You know, when you helped me with cleaning up the library?
Oh, right. That was quite a while ago. I'd completely forgotten about it.
It was last month, wasn't that long ago.
No need to thank me, though. It was nothing. Do you need help with anything today? I've got some spare time. I really don't mind.
Well, I'd rather take care of the stuff I've been asked to do on my own.
I could give you a hand, though, couldn't I?
Yeah, you could, but I sure would rather you didn't. Me doing those jobs is why I get to stay here, even though I'm an Almiran.
Oh, so it's a status thing. I can understand that. I can get pretty awkward if I ever have to ask a favor from a noble.
Exactly. That's why I don't want anybody's help.
You don't need to feel that way around me, though. I'm just a commoner. I'm only in here thanks to a bit of luck. So really, I'm just the same as you.
I don't know if that's exactly true, but maybe.
Either way, birth and social status don't really matter for us, do they? After all, we're friends, right?
Friends?
Yeah, and when a friend needs you, you've got to help, don't you?
I don't know. I guess I've never been anybody's friend before.
It's easy. If I'm in trouble, you help me out. And if you need something, I help you too.
Huh. Okay. But I've packed up for the day already, so maybe you could help me out next time?
Sure. Whenever you need a hand, just let me know.
Ash is my friend. And friends help each other out. Yeah, that sounds nice.
Would have made a lot more sense pre-time skip. Because that makes a lot of sense for like a 10-year-old maybe to be saying. For a, you know, whatever age he is right now. What age is he? I have no idea what age Cyril is. It never really occurred to me. I assume he has to be a certain age for ratings of games, but let's see. He's 20. I'm sorry, he was 15 in the original, like, pre-time skip? He was 15. I get the feeling he was 15 for ratings reasons rather than, you know, any other reason. Anyway. Dedue and Shamir, let's go.
Dutiful as ever, Dedue.
What are you suggesting?
You're always busy delivering messages.
You mean His Highness's orders?
Does he need you to run such trivial errands?
He should not trouble himself over them. I am honored to attend His Highness, and to represent him in all matters. Ever since he saved my life, serving him has given me reason to live.
Reason to live. Huh.
Your relationship to the Archbishop seems similar.
Not quite. I joined the Knights to repay a debt I owed Rhea. The debt's been repaid, so she's nothing more than a former employer.
Then you are not motivated by loyalty.
Not especially. I wouldn't call Rhea my reason to live.
And if a higher-paying employer comes along?
I'd consider it. That's what mercenaries do.
Then yes, we are completely different.
I sense a disapproving tone there.
Everyone's different. I'm not trying to criticize your loyalty. I've seen a lot of people like you all over the world. They don't tend to last very long, though. Try not to end up like them.
Thank you for the warning.
Right, next we have Catherine. Ooh, now I'm leaving any that are with Dimitri until later. We have Gilbert and Dedue. Last time they were having a bit of an argument, so let's see what's gonna happen here.
Impressive that you made it back, Dedue.
No. So this is one of the few that have referenced that Dedue was gone. In fact, has any reference that Dedue was gone yet? I'm not sure.
It was you who saved His Highness from prison. We, all of us, thought you were dead.
My wounds were severe, but I managed. So long as I draw breath, I fight for His Highness.
Is that so?
But in my absence, you have protected him. Thank you, Gilbert, for returning to us.
Stop. I left once. I have wondered if I will be forced to leave once more after this battle is done.
Would you accept that? I imagine not.
Of course not.
You are still Gustav at heart, even now. I am not fit to replace you. Not yet. I still have a great deal more to learn. For now, all I can do is continue to be a shield for His Highness.
It is unlike you to be so talkative.
That's true.
I could not be silent.
So long as you understand, I will leave the kingdom someday. It may not be until the day I die, but the time will come. This war. I'm a much older man than I was when it began. Sooner or later, someone must take my place. Do not try to carry the weight alone, Dedu. There are many talented and well-trained officers. Work together with them to assure our king's future. Do that, and when the time comes, I will rest well.
Thank you for the advice. However,
Yes?
it is too soon to treat you like an old man. You still have at least 10 years of service in you. Fargus, no. His Highness needs you. As do I. Save the old man talk for when you are truly senile.
A fair point. There's no reason to let old age make one timid.
Even as I work to surpass you, I still rely on you.
Is that so? Well then, we have more fighting ahead of us to do. We should get to it, for the future of Fargus.
Nice. Okay, that's a solid B. They're not friends so much. Kind of rivals, maybe. There's a little bit in there, but like they're not truly. They haven't truly got to like the A status of like, oh, everything's good and happy. But yeah, I like where that ended up. I'm just seeing, does anyone else need anything, or is it just Dimitri now? Does I want to do a pure Dimitri block? Okay, so there was for Dimitri. Let's do the ones that aren't finished first, and then we'll do the ones that are finished. Yeah. So let's start with Aloise C. Sure.
Your Highness, missing the day's training? How unlike you.
Now, I believe this one was meant to be pre-time skip, so this is going to be a little odd.
I had intended to train, but this rain is unrelenting.
Yes, it's really coming down out there. Makes it hard to go outside, I suppose. It's pouring so hard, I can't help but feel poorly.
Oh.
Yes. Quite.
Sorry, that one was pretty bad. I think this weather is putting a damper on my sense of humor.
Oh.
At any rate, did you need me for something?
Ah, yes. You seem to have the time to spare, so would you help me organize our stock of weapons? You must know a thing or two about weapons, and I bet you're no slouch at physical labor.
Of course, I'd be happy to help. I was just hoping for a useful way to pass the time until the rain lets up.
I appreciate it. I don't know how I do it all on my own. You know, it's great that you're willing to help with this kind of thing. Some nobles are so self-important.
This is so weird, because Dimitri, quite definitely, this is not where his character arc is right now, so it's very odd.
You're a real go-getter, Your Highness. Or should I say, your spryness?
Oh dear.
Maybe that was disrespectful. If he's going to lop off my head, he'd better go ahead and do it. I can't bear the silence. Listen, Your Highness, that joke, I didn't mean to...
I just...
Huh?
oh my... I'm sorry, Eloise.
Maybe it's a perfect fit for Dimitri's story. He's just completely cracked, he's broken, he's dead. Like, his mind is gone.
Wait, you mean you actually found it funny?
Oh goodness, not at all.
I see.
But when a joke is unfunny to a certain degree, it somehow comes full circle into hilarity.
That's not exactly what I was going for. Still, I don't think I've ever seen you laugh so loudly.
It's true. Laughter is not one of my strong suits. I actually can't recall the last time I laughed like that. Eloise, perhaps you should focus your efforts on honing this comedic talent of yours.
This talent? Is that your way of saying I'm no good at telling jokes?
My apologies. I should refrain from commenting on the quality of your jokes. What's important is that they bring joy, right?
That does it. Next time I make you laugh, I'm gonna make you admit it was a good quality joke. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to cook up some top-notch rib ticklers.
Alois, what about organizing the weapons? Oh, he's gone, isn't he?
Alright, extremely odd. Dimitri's next one. We'll do a B support, just seeing if we... okay, so we got finished B with Ingrid. Let's do that first.
Your Highness, I've come to apologize.
Now, I think this is going to be post-time skip.
I mismanaged my feelings and got carried away. I've been thinking about what might have made you say the things you did.
Maybe this is pre. Actually, I'm starting to think it's pre.
I was so caught up in the moment and in my own feelings that I didn't think of what yours might be.
No, I should be the one to apologize. I did not intend to say such things. I lashed out like a child. You were right to rebuke me. I am disgusted by my own inability to express myself. Will you allow me to explain?
Of course.
At the tragedy of Dusker, I saw countless corpses. Of course, I saw his, too. Glenn's. Ingrid, I doubt you would have been able to see him. They were unable to bring his body back, after all. He must have died an agonizing death, full of pain and regret. That is what I saw in his face. In that wasteland, there were no beautiful, proud deaths that could have been written about in heroic tales. Not one. I do not want you to die a death like that. Not even for the sake of loyalty or duty.
A king must at times order his soldiers and knights to fight and die on his behalf. Their lives must be used for the greater good. And this is something any good king understands innately. Any king who doesn't allow people to die on his behalf is too soft to rule well.
You leave me little room for argument. Have I disappointed you?
No. I chose to serve you because of how you are. As your knight, I will stand by your side and uphold your soft-hearted ideals.
Yeah, that line in particular makes me go, definitely pre-time skip.
What has changed, Ingrid? You were so obstinate the other day.
I've realized that I haven't been facing a very important truth. Because of you, I can finally move on. Thank you.
Awesome. Right. Now, I think... Yeah, it was Flayn and Gilbert? Yeah, so let's go with Flayn.
Why are you out and about so late, Dimitri?
Hello, Flayn. I could ask you the same thing.
I think that's a younger voice for Dimitri. So I think this is pre as well.
Me? I was feeling restless and came here to think.
I see. I'm here for the same reason.
How funny. But, are you feeling well? You look fairly pale.
It's nothing. I just have a bit of a headache.
Oh my. Headaches are quite troublesome, are they not? I am sure it will subside soon. Actually, I am quite talented when it comes to healing magic. If you will allow me, I will have you feeling better in no time.
That's kind of you, but I'm fine.
But why not? Have I offended you somehow?
This headache is something I've dealt with for a while now. Ever since my family and friends were murdered before my eyes, I must never forget that day. I must never allow their deaths to be forgotten. I feel this headache as a reminder of sorts. Of those I failed to protect. And of their murderers who still roam free.
I see. That would explain your somber demeanor. Still, I do not agree with all you are saying. I feel that if I were your father or any of your dear friends whom you lost, I would want you to let go of me eventually. I would never want someone whom I care deeply for to be pained by the loss of me for eternity. And I doubt they would want that either.
Perhaps. Unfortunately, they have left this world, so I can no longer ask their preference.
We cannot ask them directly, but we can imagine how they might have felt. You know who they were as people. As for me, if I am ever to be but a memory in your future, I want you to remember me in a way that brings you joy. I would want you to smile when you recalled me, to feel warmed by the notion that I cherished your company. I cannot imagine I am the only one who feels this way. Surely, anyone who loved another would wish only for their peace and happiness. I must apologize. I was out of line, clearly. I must get some rest now. Please do not stay up too late yourself.
Good night, Flayn. And thank you.
Although I think that was pre-time skip, I think that worked very well for where we are now. Right. Gilbert Dimitri. This one, again, it could be pre, but this would, if it's pre-time skip, I believe it's our last pre-time skip, because all the A's were definitely after. Yeah. So, let's see how this goes.
Your Highness, it falls to me once more to instruct you in the ways of battle.
Definitely pre.
It does not befit a leader to fight on the front lines. I would ask that you refrain from such conduct in the future.
I've not had to weather your lectures in many a year, and here I thought you were avoiding me.
That is a separate matter. You have a duty to consider the value of your own life.
Your words ring true, of course. I admit, I was a bit careless out there.
Although this is pre-time skip, I love the way that that fits in. I would just love it, like, Dimitri's been out there running in, smashing people as heads in, basically just being an absolute berserk person in all the front lines, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I admit I was a bit careless out there. I let things go a little bit too far. My bad. You know.
However, I have always been a man who is good for nothing but war. To best support our cause, I must carve a path through the battlefield with my own hands. I truly believe that will lead us to victory. Why the dark expression, Gustav? Do my words trouble you so?
You remind me of your father. His Majesty once said the same thing more than a decade ago, during the Northern Campaign. In you, I see his manner and I hear his words. You grow more like him with each day's passing. And in you, I am reminded of my failure and my duty to him.
I do not wish to speak of that matter. As I said before, I feel no resentment toward you.
Even so, you have changed since that fateful day, Your Highness. Perhaps too much. I worry that in your pain, you have locked away your true feelings. Your passion is dulled, and your vigor faded.
You want to hear my true feelings, Gustav? Then let me ask you this. Why did you save my life that day? Why did you not allow me to die along with the others? If you truly wish to atone for your sins, then take my life, here and now!
You would ask me to perform the unthinkable. You are the future of Fargus. Your kingdom needs you alive. That I was able to save you is my only sense of salvation. Your Highness, I repeat myself. Consider the value of your own life. If you continue risking all, be it on the battlefield or by issuing mad orders such as this, I will be forced to save you from yourself.
I see. So, you will continue to protect and serve me, will you? In that case, when I assume the throne, I will order you to work for me in the kingdom.
Your Highness, no, please.
My father would be happy to see such a day. Perhaps I will ask you to instruct me further in the ways of battle, when that time comes.
If I wish to atone for my sins, I must take your life? Deception has never been your strong suit, Dimitri. Or do you think I cannot see? You must know I would take my own life before I let anyone harm you.
That was really good. And also, if that had come pre-time skip, that would have given us a very good look into Dimitri at that moment. You can see the little shades of where he was going to end up there. Also, it gives us a great idea about what's going on with Gilbert, and why Gilbert is, you know, leading the Kingdom forces at that, like, post-time skip, because that's kind of already implied that that's where things were headed. Anyway, Dimitri and Catherine, let's go.
That was delicious. Wow, I'm full. Nothing beats a big meal after a training session.
Yeah, this is more what I expected. Silence, contemplation, that sort of thing.
Okay, what's up? You seem distracted.
Oh, my apologies, Catherine. I was just wondering whether you had any desire to return to Fargus.
No, I haven't even entertained the idea. My loyalty lies elsewhere. No matter what, I'm going to find Lady Rhea. That's what I'm fighting for.
May I ask why you have devoted yourself to Lady Rhea?
It's simple. I adore her. Lady Rhea isn't just kind, but strong and courageous. I think she's a wonderful, beautiful person. More so than anyone else in the world.
Wow. I'm not sure I can compete with that.
You can't. My reluctance to return to Fargus isn't about you, though. Ever since I met Lady Rhea, going back just hasn't been an option.
That is a shame. I am certain Fargus could use your help in the near future. House Karen is one of the most sterling noble families after Fraldarius and Gautier. It would be reassuring to know that you had taken up your position as head of that house.
You know how this argument would have made this would have had a lot more force if he had just gone, House Charon is one of the most sterling noble families. You know, you can just put a full stop there, right? And then you don't need to say, yeah, you're one of the most sterling noble families, but you know what? Actually, these two are better than you. Like that's kind of like you can build them up without having to be like, you know, you're still third though. You know, that's all my point is.
Is something wrong?
You need someone who's like me, but more noble. You're so stern and serious all the time. Sorry, I'm not going back. Besides, my father is alive and well, fulfilling the duties of House Karen. I have plenty of capable brothers and sisters who can take over after him. I'll keep serving Lady Rhea here, and you'll bring the kingdom together at the capital. We have to direct our talents wherever they're most useful and most needed, right?
Well,
Anyway, early day tomorrow. Don't want to stay up too late. You better go to bed.
Alright, so we'll see where that ends up. I wonder if she will end up going back. I assume no, because that was a fairly definite no, but we'll see. Right, we're going to do Annette next, because she hasn't, she also does not have a Finnish support, and then we'll do all the finished ones.
Your Highness, I have one more favor to ask.
is this about Gustav again? I have plenty more stories about him, but perhaps it is time for you to speak with him yourself.
Oh, it's not about Father this time. This time I wanted to ask about you.
About me?
I mean, I heard all about Father last time, but I didn't ask about you.
Ah, well, I'm afraid there is not much of interest for me to tell you.
Oh, it doesn't have to be funny or interesting. That's not why I'm asking. It's just that I thought I already knew you, but I'm not sure I really do. That day when we were reunited at the monastery, I didn't know what to say to you. So I wanted to prepare some of your favorite food. I thought maybe if you ate something that you liked, you'd cheer up a little. But when I got to the kitchen, I realized I didn't even know what you like to eat.
I see. Well, it's a little hard to say what my favorite is. I just don't really have any strong feelings about food. That said, you're pretty keen on sweet things, right, Annette?
Yes, that's right. I'm at my happiest when I'm digging into a sweet treat. Oh, did you know there's a famous sweets shop in the capital?
Yes. It often had long lines outside, didn't it? The castle guards often spoke of it.
The sweets were so good. They cost a fortune, but I loved them. When Father was still around, we all lived as a family in the capital. Since then, I've had them only a few times. How I'd love to taste them again.
Say, Annette, when this war is over, where will you go?
Are all of his post-time skip ones just him trying to recruit people? Like, I know life in the kingdom's been a little rough, but do you want to come back, you know, maybe work for me? He's trying to rebuild, maybe?
I heard that you were close to Baron Dominic back in the academy days.
That's right. But that's not where I think I'd like to go when all of this is over. I reconnected with Father, so I'd like to live with my family again, in the capital. Also, if I'm in the capital, I'll be able to see you from time to time, right?
Ah, that settles it then. We'll have to get your father working twice as hard.
Father's at a ripe old age now. I'd appreciate it if you didn't work him too hard.
Oh, of course. I will keep that in mind.
How old's Annette? I'm just thinking here, how old is Annette? There we go. Annette. She's 22. So we're talking like Gilbert's probably in his 50s. Actually, we can just look at what age Gilbert is, right? He's 61. Oh, okay. So he's a little bit older, but the way they're making it sound, it's like he's gonna drop off the perch at any moment. You know, like if a light breeze came along, Gilbert would be in real trouble. But yeah, okay. I think to do summed it up about right. He's got a few more years on him, like of working. Anyway, let's go Marianne and Dimitri. Now this should be good.
Spared again.
So it would seem. I told you that you were extraordinarily lucky.
Sometimes I think that must be true. But why me? Is this the goddess's way of telling me to make something of myself? There are so many others who are much more deserving of life.
And that commenter I talked about at the start would definitely have some suggestions.
I often think the same of myself, especially after battles where many lives were lost. But I must go on living. I cannot give in to death so readily. It is my duty to atone for my sins and to pay for the lives I've taken. I suppose that must be why the goddess allows me to live on.
Is there a reason she allows me to live?
Only you can know that. But I believe there is a reason. Marianne, life is difficult.
It is a burden. It feels terrible to continue standing when so many others had to fall.
If that is so, then carry on as you are. There is no need for you to force yourself to smile as your soul bleeds. But please, whatever you do, do not give up on yourself or your precious life.
What do you mean?
If you were to die, I would be devastated.
You never have been easy to read.
Is that so?
Everyone says that I need to cheer up, but you may be the first person to tell me not to. Your life must also be difficult for you to understand my position.
So it is. I often feel I am not strong enough to live it.
I think our difficulties have brought us closer together.
Do you?
Absolutely. Please, Dimitri, promise you'll live through this war and long after. I don't know what I'd do with myself if we lost you.
As long as you are carrying on, I have yet another reason to carry on myself. I promise to the goddess of Fódlan that I will never give you cause to despair.
Okay, so shared misery. I wonder if they have a pairing at the end. That would seem like an odd one, but I suppose they do go up to an A. Who are his A pluses? That's Catherine, okay, Flane, and Annette. Yeah, so none of them are immediately jumping out at me. So yeah, maybe it is meant to be, like, maybe Marianne is the top one there. If you don't, you know, go to him with the ring, like, maybe she's the one he ends up with? Intriguing. Anyway, I guess we can find out at the Seer later. Anyway, Mercedes and Dimitri.
Good evening, Dimitri. Have you come to pray?
Something like that. And you?
Oh yes, that's why I'm here. I love how calm and peaceful the cathedral is this late at night.
It really is.
Coming here on a quiet night always makes me think of those who aren't with us anymore. We've lost so many in this war, too many to count. I hope they all get to live in eternal happiness at the goddess's side. These prayers are all I have to offer.
You are a kind soul, Mercedes.
I think you're kind too, Dimitri. Sometimes to a fault.
Kind? Me? No, not at all. I am just a killer. A disgusting monster.
Interesting parallels with that and the Death Knight. That being her brother. You know, he says something very similar. Can't remember exactly the phrase, but he does say something that has the same kind of phrasing and meaning behind it.
But why do you kill? For the sake of your loved ones? Those who have passed? Real monsters kill for selfish reasons. They're incapable of expressing sorrow when they kill. So please, don't call yourself a monster.
Mercedes, I am scared. So scared that I will forget their faces. The people who have died, who I have killed. I cannot let myself forget them. I know that, and yet, whatever my feelings, it is all the act of a monster.
It's sad, but the truth is that people forget. You may be afraid to forget your past, but you'll never be able to revisit it. Living in the present is the best we can do. We owe it to those who can't come back.
If someone had said those words to me 5 years ago, I would be a different man today.
What do you want to do now, Dimitri? Continue fighting for those who have died? Not as a king, but as my classmate. What do you want to do?
My own dreams. I have never given it any thought. What about you? What do you want, Mercedes?
I want to keep sewing and training with you, even after you've become king. I want to be your friend.
But I have no right to stand beside you.
Please, I can't hear any more of this self-deprecation. I just want to be by your side. Is that so much to ask?
Mercedes, I want the same thing. If you allow it, I wish to stay by your side.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels that way. Let's spend a little more time here together, just the two of us.
I'm starting to get a feeling it might be Mercedes, in answer to my previous question. But we'll see. Hey, you never know, it could be Felix.
I have a question for you. Answer quickly before my hand slips and I cut you in half.
Always so ominous. Well, what is it, Felix?
Sometimes you have an animal's face, contorted with anger and bloodlust. At other times, a man's with a friendly smile. Which is your true face?
Do not waste your breath on questions with such obvious answers. They are both the real me. My father, my friends, Glenn, they all meant a great deal to me. And they were all brutally slaughtered. I alone survived. If I do not shoulder the anguish and regret they must have felt, who will?
So that's how you justify your atrocities.
To be fair on this situation, Felix is actually now in pretty much the exact same situation. well, not exact, but like, he's in a very similar situation to Dimitri now. In terms of the people he's lost, in terms of the ways they were lost. He's got a very similar list of people. But the way that he's handled it is obviously... It's still not great. But, you know, you can't argue it's better. But it's still not great. But I'm just pointing out here. Dimitri's way of handling it was not good. It's like a 10 on the bad scale. And Felix is like a 5. It's not great, but like, you could do worse.
What do you mean?
I will fulfill my duty to the late king. My old man used to say that over and over like a mantra. How nauseating. No one seems to understand. The dead won't acknowledge your loyalty. They don't care. What a load of bunk it is, pretending to serve a corpse. You're serving your own ego.
You are wrong.
No, I'm not. The dead are dead. The living are living. You have to respect that boundary. If you keep stringing gravestones around your neck, you'll snap.
Even still, I cannot forget them, nor can I let them go.
Then keep those thoughts to yourself. If you're too weak to do that, abandon your throne. Become a gravekeeper.
Felix.
I'm not immune to emotion, you know. Far from it. I haven't gone a day without questioning why my father and brother had to die, while I survived. I'll bear this pain until the day I die, but I refuse to wallow in it. I have more important things to do than blubber for my whole life.
You know, Felix, you really are growing more and more like your brother. Always so sarcastic and constantly looking for a fight. But deep inside, more than anyone, you...
What are you getting at?
Oh, it's nothing. But allow me to thank you. Your perspective has opened my eyes.
Not my intention. I couldn't stand the pathetic look on your face, that's all.
I see. If you say so, then we will leave it at that.
Great. Alright, Dedue and Dimitri. Now, this one is one that isn't a guarantee to happen, obviously, because Dedue can be dead at this point. So this is an interesting one. And also, it was Dedue who saved Dimitri or something like that. Like, Dimitri saved Dedue originally, all the way back when? All the way back pre-time skip, pre-game. And then Dedue got Dimitri out of prison somehow. Well, we'll figure this out.
Your Highness, you still have scars on your back. It does you no good to languish in pain. I will procure some medicine.
No, it is fine. Though they are still deep, these are from 9 years ago. They do not hurt any longer. And besides, it would be a shame if the scars I got from protecting you were to fade. I bear these scars proudly. It makes me think that it was worthwhile that someone like me survived.
To hear you say such things.
Dedue, you say that I saved you. But do you know that you also saved me that day? If I had been unable to save anyone, I would have been the sole survivor. I would have had no reason to keep living. But I saved someone. Saved you. That and that alone has always been my crutch.
When I stood before those soldiers and their swords that day, I was prepared to die.
Okay. So, I'm just going back to this one. So, I guess the implication here is when Dedue was gone, that's why Dimitri's downward spiral happened, and that's why his downward spiral doesn't happen quite as badly on all the other route. Well, we don't really get an explanation on the Golden Deer route as to what exactly Dimitri was doing. I assume that it's actually similar to this one. But on the Crimson Flower route, you definitely see he does not have the same problems, and I suspect that's because Dedue was with him. Interesting.
But then, you suddenly appeared, and you shielded me. I knew then that a savior's hand could reach into even the deepest darkness. I still have not been able to repay that debt.
Have you not heard a word I've said? You have saved me in countless ways. 5 years ago, I did nothing but await my execution within my jail cell. Was it not you that saved me?
That was nothing more than my duty as your vassal.
Listen, Dedue, perhaps you consider me to be someone special, but I think the same of you. You are irreplaceable, cherished. So stop saying that we cannot be friends. Stop saying such awful things.
Please, do not look at me that way. You promised me you would build a kingdom that is proud to boast of Duscur blood. In this kingdom, where there is no distinction between the people of Duscur and the people of Fódlan, will I finally, without reservation, be able to call you my friend? Will I, Dimitri?
Dedue. Yes, you will call me your friend again and again, no matter how many hardships I must endure.
I will do all I can to bring about that world as well. To be your friend is what I have always wanted.
Is that so? I am glad to hear it.
But until that time, we must allow no harm to befall you. So please call upon me when you walk alone at night. And even when you go out in the day, please tell me where you are going and whom you are meeting.
In the end, I suppose there is no fixing your overprotectiveness, is there? I suppose I can live with that.
There's not much to say. Dedue is... he is one of the best characters in this game, by far. And, well, there's not... He's just, he's loyal, he's respectful, he's, good-natured, he's always doing things for others, he's generally just selfless. Yeah, it's fantastic. And now it's our reunion with Dimitri. What are you doing?
Sleep evades me, so I thought I'd get in some extra training. I was just about to finish. Perhaps it is the gloomy weather, but I am feeling the sting of wounds that should have healed long ago.
What wounds?
The injury I got when that girl stabbed me after the battle at Gronder. Her eyes were filled with revenge, just as mine once were.
Who was she?
I don't know, but I have a guess. I suppose I haven't told you about that yet.
What are you talking about?
I was attacked inside the monastery the other day. It caused quite the uproar. The ones who attacked me were some of the youths we taught swordsmanship to once upon a time.
Why did they do it?
It seems they were raised by a group of thieves we put down 5 years ago. I heard Lady Rhea took custody of them, claiming that the children were innocent. I have taken so many lives, and with each one, I face hatred. During the last 5 years especially, my life was not so different from that of a wild beast. And that young girl's brother. At some point, I must have... That is why I thought it only natural that someone would retaliate someday. Because I hated, because I stole, and because I killed. But with those children, it's different. We drew our blades with the best of intentions, only to hurt them in the end. I suppose this is yet another thing we will just have to live with.
You know what? Let's agree. I feel the same way. We're not gonna be, it's part of the job, we're not gonna be emotionless. We're gonna empathize.
Yes. As one who chose to fight, it is my responsibility to confront this anguish and the true nature of war. Until the day my life comes to an end.
We can confront it together.
Thank you. You know, Professor, there's something that I only recently realized. I never knew it could be so comforting to have someone standing by my side.
Awesome. Oh, and we have one more? Oh, yeah, it's us and Gilbert, but that's okay. We'll do that in a minute. Okay, let's chuck in a save. And actually, you know what we might do this time? I might actually just call it there. And then that way next time, we go into the monastery, we have our chat with Gilbert, and then we move all the way to the mission. So, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.